A famous Greek shipping magnate still still owns many containers. Ships containers are collected at one port and delivered to another port. Customers pay a negotiated fee for the delivery of each container. Each ship has a sailing schedule that lists the ports the ship will visit over the next 6 months. The schedule shows the expected arrival and departure dates. The daily charge for use of each port is also recorded. A medical center employs several physicians. A physician can see many patients, and a patient can be seen by many physicians through not always on the one visit. On any particular visit, a patient may be diagnosed to have one or more illnesses. A telephone company offers a 10% discount to any customer who phones another person who is also a customer of the company. To be eligible for the discount, the pairing the pairing of two phone numbers must be registered with the telephone company. Furthermore, billing purposes, the company records both phone numbers, start time, end time, and date of call. Global Trading GT Inc. is a conglomerate conglomerate conglomerate. It buys and sells business frequently and has difficulty keeping track of what strategic business units SBUS it owns and in what nations it operates and what markets it serves. For example, the CEO was recently surprised to find that GT owned 25% of Dundee Wild Adventure, headquartered in Jail, that has, subsidiaries operating tours of Australia, Zaire, and New York. You have been commissioned to design a database to keep track of GT's business. The CEO has provided you with the projects are allowed to expand because it is easier, easier to say yes than no. In the long run, however, you do the clients a disservice by promising too much and extending the life of the project. Determine the core entities and attributes that will solve most of the problems and confine that data model to this core. Keep sight of the time and budget constraints of the project. Interrogate. Step back and reflect on how your project fits with the organization's information architecture. Interrogate with existing systems where feasible and avoid duplication. How does your data model fit with the corporate data model and those of other projects? Can you use part of an existing data model? A skilled data modeler has to see both fine grained detail of a project data model and the big picture of the corporate data resource. Complete good data modelers don't have live data models ill-defined. All entities, attributes, and relationships are carefully defined. Ambiguities are resolved, and expectations are handled. Because the full value of a data model is realized only when the system is complete, the data modeler should stay involved with the project until until the system is implemented. The data modeler, who generally gets involved in the project from its earliest days, can provide continuity through the various phases and ensure the system solves the problem. Summary: data modeling is both a technique for modeling data and its relationships and a graphical representation of a database. It communicates a database design. The goal is to identify the facts that must be stored in a database. Building a data model is a partnership between a client, a representative of the eventual owners of the database, and a designer. The building's blocks are an entity, attribute, identifier, and relationship. A well-formed data model, which means the construction's rules have been obeyed, clearly communicates information to the client. A high-fidelity data model faithfully describes the world it represents. A data model is an evolving representation. Each change should be an incremental improvement in quality. The quality of a data model can be determined only by understanding the context in which it will be used. A data model can model historical data relationships just as readily as current ones. Cardinality specifies the precise multiplicity of a relationship. Modality indicates whether a relationship is optional or mandatory. The five different types of entities are independent, dependent, associative, aggregate, and uh, subordinate. Expect a data model to expand and contract. A has no data model has no ordering. Introduce and attribute. If ordering is required, an attribute must have the same meaning for every instance. An attribute is the smallest piece of data that will conceivably form part of a query. Synonymous or accessories are available for all minivans, easy not all manufacturers offer a driver's side airbag. Some sets of accessories are sold as packages, e.g. the luxury package may be included stereo 6 speakers, cocktail bar and twin overhead foxtails. 1750. Strip operators a cinema chain and has given you the following information. I have many cinemas. These cinemas can have multiple theaters. Movies are shown throughout the day starting at 11 a.m. and finishing at 1 a.m. Each movie is given a 2-hour time slot. We never show a movie in more than one theater at a time, but we do shift movies among theaters because seating capacity varies. I am interested in knowing how many people classified by adults and children. Words that have same meanings, homonymous, are words that sound the same but have different meanings. Identifiers should generally have no meanings. Highly effective data modelers emerge, challenge, generalize, test, limit, interrogate, and complete. Key terms and concepts. Aggregate entity, aggregation, associative entity, attribute, cardinality, composite, aggregation, data model, data model quality, dependent entity, determinate domain entity. Generalization, high-fidelity image, homonym, homonym, identifier, independent entity, instance, mandatory, modality, modeling, optional relationship. Relationship descriptor, relationship level, share aggregation, synonym, telephone billing system, which use an account ID to identify a customer rather than a telephone number. This means a customer can change telephone numbers without causing any coding problems because telephone number is not the unique identifier of each customer. A meaningful identifier can lose its meaningfulness. Consider the problems that can occur with the identifier that records both the color and the material of an article. Chipboard with a beechwood finer is coded PW. A black product, on the other hand, is coded BL. Problems arise whenever there is an overlap between these characteristics. What happens with a product that is finished with a black veneer on beech wood? Should the code be BW or BL? What about a black painted product that is made out of beech wood? Maybe a new code, PB for black beech wood, is required. There will always be employees and customers who do not know the meaning of this not to so meaningful identifiers and attribute the wrong meaning to them. The solution: non-meaningful identifiers. Most people are initially inclined to try to make identifiers meaningful. There is a sense that something is lost by using a simple numeric to identify a product or customer. Nothing, however, is lost and mass is gained. Non-meaningful identifiers serve their sole purpose well, to identify an entity uniquely. Attributes are used to describe the characteristics of the entity, e.g., color type of wood. A clear distinction between the role of identifiers and attributes creates fewer data management problems now and in the future. 20 seconds. Vehicles identifications. In most countries, every road vehicle is uniquely identified. The vehicle's identification number VIN was originally described in ISO standard 3007 79 in February 1977 and last revised in 1983. It is designed to identify motor vehicles, trailers, motorcycles, and mopeds. A VIN is 17 characters A through Z and 0 through 9. The European Union and the United States have different implementation of the standard. The US EIN is divided into four parts. World Manufacturer Identification WMI 3 characters. Vehicles Description Sections VDS 5 characters. Check Digit Vehicles Identifications Sections VIS 8 characters. Check Digit Vehicles Identification Sections VIS 8 characters. When decoded, a VIN specifies the country and year of manufacture. Make, model and serial number, assembly plant, and even some equipment specifications. VINs are normally located in several locations on a car, but the most common places are in the door. Frame of the front doors, on the engine itself, around the funnel,